Time's up. The answer is a hypothesis. An educated guess or hypothesis is the development of a question that can be tested. Again, you make hypotheses during an average day. A good hypothesis should be clear and brief, state expected results, be able to be tested through experimentation, show a relationship between two things or variables, and the proposal should be supported by reliable background information or experience. Let's take a look at a good example. If I get 8 hours of sleep, I should not be tired the next day. It is a simple hypothesis that actually has all 5 components to it. It's clear and brief. The expected results are stated. It can be tested through an experiment. It shows a relationship between sleep and being tired. And then, of course, we have a lot of background information that supports such information. How are you doing so far? Let's look at question number 4. What is the name given to the collection and analysis of information that is in the scientific method? Time's up. The answer is data collection and results. Sometimes in the scientific method, data collection and results are together, and sometimes they are separated into 2 different sections. For today, we are going to put them together. Information collected, or data, is gathered during the experiment. It is many times displayed in visuals such as those that are seen here. These visuals may include scatter plots, line graphs, pie graphs, bar graph, and histograms. It is through these visuals that relationships and conclusions are made. Question number 5. True or false? Both the scientific method and the engineering process should be repeated several times to show repetition or improvement. The answer is true. Even though there are some differences, both the scientific method and the engineering design process encourage you to review or repeat the steps. Question 6. Which one of the methods, processes, has a prototype? The answer is the engineering design process. A prototype is a device or model made through the engineering process. Many times it is the original model, and other versions just follow that same prototype. Question number 7. What is the step-by-step process that scientists use to test their hypothesis? The answer is experiment. The experiment is the procedure used by scientists to test their hypothesis using one variable at a time. There is the independent variable that is changed and the dependent variable that may be altered. It is best in experiments to only do one variable at a time when testing. Data is collected during the experiment. On to question 8. What are the factors that either stay the same or are altered in a scientific experiment? The answer is variables. Variables come in two different types. Independent variables. These are the factors that are being manipulated or changed. The other type of variable is dependent variables. These are the factors that are being looked at in the experiment when the other variable is changed. For example, let's say a scientist wanted to know how much sunlight is needed for a plant to grow. The independent factor would be sunlight because you would be changing the amount of sunlight. The dependent factor would be the growth of the plant depending on how much sunlight it was given. On to question 9. What is the term used when a person has a prejudice or favors a particular outcome of an experiment? The answer is bias. A bias is a belief that could alter the outcome of an experiment. Let's say Betty's favorite color was pink. She had two identical shirts and the only difference was the color. If she made a conclusion that the pink shirt fit better, well, that may be a little biased. Question number 10. What is the correct order of the steps of the scientific method? The answer is observation, hypothesis, experiment, data and results, and conclusion. How did you do today? Hopefully you enjoyed taking the Quizzicals questions about scientific method and the engineering process. Thank you for joining us, and we hope that you come back to learn with us more.